A lot of times when we think about our core, what comes to mind is the six pack, the muscle in the front, and that's a very small part of a larger whole. And in our class today, we'll actually be working more on the muscles that surround your trunk, the transverse abdominals. So let's practice engaging there for a second, sitting. You can sit any way that you like. I'm gonna be up on a block here. And let me back up a little bit. When we are engaging the rectus, the attachment points are at the front ribs and at the pubic bone. So when the muscle contracts, we shorten here through the front body. The transverse abdominals that go around, when those muscles contract, everything comes into the center, and we can keep a neutral spine and a neutral pelvis when that happens. Yeah, so let's experiment with that for a second. Take your hands on the pelvis and give yourself a little tilt forward back like you were doing cat-cow. Yeah. And then pause when you're right in the middle, just what's neutral. And slide the hands up a little bit so your hands are maybe at the lower ribs or kind of the fleshy part on the sides. And take a few breaths and just feel this movement that's happening under your hands. Now in a second, we'll add some sound to this. And there's a few different sounds that work. One of them is making a shh sound like you're telling someone to be quiet. And another is to make like a snake sound. So whichever of those is easier for you, I'll do that. Let me explain first. So we'll breathe in, and then on the exhale, we'll make our sound. And as that's happening, we want to create a slow contraction of the transverse abdominals while keeping the pelvis and the spine in their neutral. Yeah, so let's give it a try. You can keep your hands here to feel. Take your breath in, and on the exhale, we'll make our sound. Shh. And then on the inhale, you'll let it go. Let's do one more with the sound. And then let's do one more with the same idea, but without any sound. And then we'll let the hands go, just let the breath return to normal. Now, a few things I hope you noticed in doing that, one of which is when we do that, it's a slow process. And it's not aggressive. It's not like you're trying to squeeze everything for dear life. It's more creating a support system around the whole midsection of the body. Yeah, so let's just sit here for a moment. Let the eyes close if that feels okay. And without creating the sound, without creating an active contraction there, just once again, bring your attention to the breath and the movement that happens as you breathe. We're going to add in a mini, barely version of the contraction here. So for the next few breaths, when you exhale, just find a little bit of that hugging in action, but let it be really subtle. And on the inhale, you'll let it go a little bit. All right, guys. So let's let that work go. we'll come undo your legs for a second. Just stretch the legs out in front of you and create a little bit of movement in the feet, the ankles, the toes, just for a second after sitting. And we'll spend a little bit of time laying down on your back. Let's have your strap handy. And if you need to have some support underneath the head, have that as well. And for the first bit, let's keep the knees bent. So the feet are on the floor, the knees are bent. Take your arms out wide with the palms facing up. Hands just a teensy bit lower than shoulder height. Yeah, so from here, let's breathe in. And on the exhale, find that contraction and also let the arms hover a little bit off the floor, not high. And on the inhale, we set them back down. So take a few more of these and think about lifting your arms from the support of your core. And the lift happens on the exhale, and the release happens on the inhale. We want to just let our pelvis and low back be in a neutral position here, no specific alignment, just neutral. And then on the next exhale, let's just pause for a moment on empty breath. Find that support system here, holding up the arms. And on the inhale, let it go. Yeah, so let's lengthen the legs out long on the floor and just let them be relaxed for a second. And notice when the legs are relaxed, they'll naturally roll out. Place your hands on the abdomen below the navel with the fingers facing in towards the center. Yeah, so this is the lowest part of the transverse abdominals that goes across. And we're also going to get into the lowest part of the rectus abdominals that go up and down. So you just in your brain, think about putting on a pair of jeans that have come straight out of the dryer and they're a little tight, so you have to lay down to get them on. And then first, you're going to button the pants, and that'll be transverse, so you feel the fingers coming closer together. And next, you want to zip the pants, yeah? And when you zip the pants, the pelvis will tilt a little bit. You want to be sure not to overly do it. It's just a little bit. So I'm going to combine this with the breath and with some actions in the legs. Let's take a breath in. And as you exhale, don't really do it, but pretend you want to try to lift the legs up off the floor. The inner thighs will roll down. You'll button the pants. You'll zip the pants. You'll hold. And then on the inhale, let it go. Let's do a few more times of that. And it's a slow process. It's a slow exhale as we find that the inner thighs roll down, the pants get buttoned, and then they get zipped. Let's do last one like this with the hands here. And it's very subtle, but you might feel the fingers get a little closer to each other. All right, and then let's add this to the arm movement we were doing before. So the inhale is relaxed. On the exhale, the arms lift and the legs do the pretend lift. Yeah. And then on the inhale, we put them back down. So it's really deep, it's really strong, but it's not aggressive. Yeah, we could do it in a really aggressive way, but don't. See if you can do it softly and strongly. Yeah. And then last one here. And then let the effort go. Let's bend the knees, feet to the floor. Take your feet a little bit wider and just let the knees do it, a windshield wiper, just to let it go for a second. Now for this next bit, we'll use the strap and put the legs up in the air. And in a second after that, we'll be doing same position, but the legs long on the floor. Mary, you can do whatever you want for the first part or just go straight into the second part. So let's put the strap over the feet, both feet up in the air, and have a little space between, like if you were standing, you'd be standing about hips width distance apart. Notice when the legs come up, did the pelvis tuck under? And see if you can go the other direction, even if the legs have to come a little bit away from you. Try to come back into the neutral pelvis with a little bit of lumbar curve. Yeah? If you have to bend the knees a bit too, that's fine. Then from here, feel what happens when you press the legs outward into the feet, kind of press out into the edges of the strap, and then let that go. So we're going to add breath to this. You'll inhale to stay relaxed. On the exhale, press the legs into the strap. Find that s or sh sound without actually making it, and keep the pelvis in neutral. And then on the inhale, you'll back off. So do that a few more times. The exhale, we press the legs, we slowly contract through the abdomen. All right, and then last one. Okay. Then from here, we will come into the legs long on the floor, continue to have the strap around the feet. So I'll suggest bending the knees first, it's a little awkward, and then the legs lengthen down. You've got one hand on the right, one hand on the left. Feet are a little bit separated. And then listen here, it's a little tricky. You'll give the strap a pull as if you want to pull the shoulders towards your ears. And then press the back of the arms and the triceps down into the floor and kind of tuck them under. A little bit similar to bridge pose in the arms. Now when you take this position, the chest pops up a little bit, the collarbones are wide, and there's a subtle little back bend in the whole spine. So let's keep that going in the upper chest, but in a second we'll do something with the lower body. So take a breath in. On your exhale, let's find that same abdominal exhale. Yeah, and you'll feel a little bit of lengthening through the lower back, but it likely won't press all the way into the floor. The inhale will just be a release from that. So do that a few more times. Slow exhale with the contraction, but the collarbones stay wide as you're doing it. Let's take one more time. Yeah. I know the next one's a little funny. Let's pause here. You'll keep the right foot in the strap, bend the left knee and take the left leg up and walk the hands down the strap so you choke up on it again. And let's do that little action again. So you pull on the strap, press the backs of the arms, backs of the shoulders into the floor. Let's inhale. And then as you exhale, find the contraction through the belly. Lower the leg any amount that you can without disturbing the position of your spine. And then you'll inhale to take the leg up. Yeah, so just a little different version of our leg drops. Exhale, we lower. Keep a little tug going on the strap. And inhale, we lift. Let's take one more time on this leg. And then we'll change sides. So, switcheroo. Now, of course, if you need to do this with the bent knee, you could. Absolutely fine. If the hamstring is tighter, if it's just too much. So let's go up with the right leg. Find the strap holding the left and the shoulders pressing down. Inhale. On the exhale, we find our abdominal contraction. Lower the leg any amount without disturbing the spine. And then the inhale pulls you back up. Do that a few more times. Guys. And then to be done with this, we'll just release. You can put the strap to the side. Give your fingers a little wiggle. Sometimes they get tired from gripping on the strap like that. And let's bring the knees into the chest and create a little bit of movement here. Yeah. All right, guys, when you're ready, we'll turn over, coming to all fours position, your hands and knees. And just take a second once you're there to move around a little bit. That might be shoulder movements, spinal movements, hips. And then let the movement settle here. And let's have the hands just maybe an inch further forward than you normally would have them. Bring your right leg back, tuck the toes under, and give the foot a little push back and forth to give a little stretch for the sole of the foot. And then let's pause here, scooch the left knee also a tiny bit forward, just an inch or so. Stay in this position. And listen here, we will inhale, don't do it yet. On the exhale, you'll press the top of the foot into the floor, contract the belly without rounding the back like cat pose, and you'll hover the knee off the floor. So you're not going very far, but there's a lot going on in the abdomen. So let's give that a whirl. You'll breathe in. On the exhale, slow contraction through the belly, you press into the top of the foot and hover the left knee. On the inhale, you'll sit it back down, let the belly relax. Do 2 more times. So on the exhale, the top of the foot presses, the knee lifts, the spine stays mostly neutral. It might round a little bit, but we're not going for a big round cat back. Yeah. And the next time the knee comes down, pause there. On the next exhale, you'll tone the belly again, and now lift the straight leg up off the floor. Now let's stay there. Take the left arm straight ahead, inhale. On the exhale, pull it in, let the back round as the arm and leg come towards each other. And on the inhale, re-lengthen and just go to neutral, don't let the back arch. Do this a few more times. So exhale, we round it in, and inhale, we lengthen. Let's stay in the pulled in position. One more thing here. Keep the limbs bent, right knee to the right, left elbow to the left. We're in this yoga skydiver position. We'll give the hands a break in a second. Down comes the hand, down comes the knee. Back to child's pose. You can go wider in the knees if you like. Let's first go onto your fingertips, spider fingers. Give them a little scrunch and let the center of the palm of your hand lift. And then let's relax that. Flip your hands over and just curl the fingers in and out a couple of times. It might also feel good to wobble the hips a little bit back and forth. Okay. So we'll do the second side, same exact thing. Let's reset yourself. Hands just a smidge forward of where you would normally have them in this position. Left leg is back, toes are tucked under, and just go back and forth to stretch out the foot and the calf. Yeah. And then you know what's coming. Let's pause here. Scooch the right knee just a smidge forward. Take a breath in. On the exhale, contract through the abdomen, press into the right foot and hover the right knee. And then on the inhale, we set it back down. Take that a few more times. Try to keep mostly a neutral spine as you're doing this. There's some crazy drivers. I don't know if you guys heard that. Now the next time the knee comes down, we'll stay. Float the left leg up off the floor, but keep the abdomen engaged. Right arm comes forward. This is an inhale. On the exhale, round it in. And on the inhale, re-lengthen. Take that a few more times. And then on this last one, yogis, let's stay in. Let the right elbow go to the right, the left knee go to the left. Just hold the position. Yoga skydiving lesson. And then down comes the hand, down comes the knee. Let's go to child's pose. If it's tolerable to have the toes tucked under, do that. Give the mat a gentle push forward with your hands. Scooch the knees back. And if you'd like to come up and squash the feet, you can come sit on the heels. If that's not possible, just stay down. Yeah, if you need to move the hands around a little bit, that might feel nice too. All right. So, when we think about the core, you know, our eyes are in the front, so we think about the front, but again, we've got sides and a back that are important too. So let's come down onto your belly and we'll work on the sides and the back. So you come all the way down here. You can make a little pillow for your forehead. It might feel good to shake out the feet a little bit after having the toes tucked under. Then from this position here, can you lengthen the legs back and down just to create a little extra space through the front of the hip? Take a breath in. On the exhale, find the abdominal contraction. Keep that and also let the legs lift. So they're not going to go up too high when we do it this way. On the inhale, put the legs down, let the belly relax. Let's do that 2 more times on the exhales. My head is up just so I can talk. You can keep the forehead resting on the hands. Yeah. All right. And then let's come down. I'm not going to say right and left. We'll pick side 1 and side 2. So take one of your arms and stretch it straight out in front of you on the floor. Take the other hand and put the hand on the side ribs like you would do a cobra pose. Now let's one more time engage the belly, lengthen the legs back and up. And the hand with the bent elbow, you'll press into that hand, gently, slowly roll over onto your side. So you're balanced on the side, the feet are a little lifted off the floor. Let's flex the feet and let the legs pull a teensy bit forward. So if you were to wiggle your toes, you would see them in your peripheral vision. Yeah, hold here, and I'm hoping you're feeling engagement, whatever waist is the top side. You feel that? Yeah. Now we're going to do the same side 2 more times. Let's point the toes. Use the bent elbow hand to control the descent. As we come back down, but the legs stay a little bit lifted. So here we're on the belly, the back body is engaged. When we press into the floor, roll over. Here now we engage a little more through the front, pulling the feet slightly forward. And because the feet are lifted, you'll hopefully also feel this on the side. Now let's add on, if you want to, lift the hand of the bent elbow. You can either put the hand to your hip, test your balance, maybe you reach arm up to the sky, maybe you reach arm overhead. All right, last one, let's put the hand back down, point the toes, control the descent, we land on the belly. And then the back body is engaged because our legs are lifted. Let's go last time here, press into the floor. Over we come, flex the feet once you get there. Pull the feet just a little bit forward. Keep the hand on the floor at first, and let's lift the top leg a little higher. And when you do that, you might feel a little more work in the side body. Yeah, the balance might also be a little trickier. If you want to test it out, you could lift the top arm. Any way you want to put it is fine. Okay, guys, down comes the hand. Let's point through the toes. Take your time to return to the belly. We're going to take a little rest. Rest the forehead, bend the knees, give the legs a little swish. Remember which side you did. We'll do a little detour and then come back and do the second side. So let's let the legs down. Head back into downward facing dog. Just take a second here at a nice symmetrical pose. And for many of us, that's mostly me, hamstrings are probably tight. If you need to pedal out the legs a bit, you can do that. Now let's pedal the legs and very gradually walk them a little wider and a little wider and a little wider until the feet are about hips width, mat width distance apart. Bend the knees and walk your hands to the legs. Prop up the forearms on the thighs. Give the wrists a little movement, the fingers a little movement. Yeah. And then we'll pause here. Let me say it. Don't do it yet. We'll inhale. On the exhale, abdominal contraction. We'll hold it a little bit so that you can breathe in, but then we'll come up on an inhale. Yeah, so let's breathe in. Exhale, abdominal contraction. Hold it somewhat, and on the inhale, come up, keeping the abdominals engaged. And then just let it go. Oh. All right, so let's stay here at the back of the mat. Reset so your feet aren't quite as wide. Slight bend in the knees and just hula hoop it out. Make a few little circles. I feel very lopsided after just doing the one side. This side's very strong and the other side's like, wait, it's my turn. All right, so let's do it. Here we are at the back of the mat. Root down through the legs. Listen here. Inhale, send the arms up. Stay there for the exhale, slow exhale, find the abdominal contraction. All sides of the waist are involved. On the inhale, let it go. And then on the exhale, find it again. Slow exhale, all sides come in. One more, inhale. On the exhale, let's keep the contraction going as you forward fold. You can bend the knees if you need to. Take a halfway lift, moving the chest forward. Lower yourself down. We'll meet in a plank pose. Any version of plank is fine. If you need to do the knees down or the elbows down, that's fine. We will stay for a little bit. Can you broaden the collarbones? Breathe in. And on the exhale, slow exhale, find the contraction. All sides of the waist narrowing in. You might feel a subtle lifting of the torso. Yeah. And then to get out, let's come down to the belly, preparing for your second side, and I'll have my back to you when we do this part. Lengthen the legs back and down.
Let's take your other arm straight ahead on the floor and the second arm here, elbow bent by the side ribs. First, we'll let the legs lift. Then you'll press into the bent elbow hand, rolling over onto your next side. Stay there, flex the feet, pull the legs slightly forward so you engage through the front. Yeah, if you wiggle your toes, you should be able to see them in your peripheral. And then to get out, control the descent using your hand and arm. We come back to the floor, the toes are pointed, the legs are still lifted, keeping the engagement through the back of the body. And then you'll press into the floor, same side again, we roll over. Flexing the feet once you get there, pulling the legs teensy bit forward. And then this bent elbow hand, if you like, you could lift hand to the hip, up overhead, anywhere you want it. Now, when the abdomen is contracted, indeed, you won't be breathing as deeply, so just know that. Let's have the hand down on the floor. Press, point through the toes slowly. Control yourself as you come back down. Only one more of these to go. So again, the hand presses down. We roll ourselves over. The feet flex, the legs pull a little forward. Let's lift the top leg any amount more, feeling this engagement in the side body. And then if you want to add on here, you can lift the arm. Oh. Remember, we used to do this all the time. It's been a while and I'm falling all over the place. All right, let's put the hand down. Put the legs back together. Control the descent back to the belly. We come. Take a little rest. Let's bend the knees and just give the legs an easy swish from side to side. Yeah. All right. So we've done both sides here. Let's put the legs back down. Press back, your choice, like your down dog or child's pose, just for a couple of breaths. And then if you have been in child's pose, go to down dog as a transition. Let's meet in a standing forward fold. Either hands walk back or feet walk forward. Bend the knees, press down into the floor. Use the inhale to rise. Stay up there and a slow exhale, hug it in. Yeah. Good. And then release the arms, shake them out a little bit. Okay, friends, so let's take Warrior Two and side angle with this in mind, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. So come stand in the center of your mat. I will mirror you here. Separate your legs. We'll go this direction first. Left leg turns in, right leg turns out. And when we do that, the pelvis will be on a little bit of a diagonal. Just leave it alone. Hands to the hips. Bend the right knee coming into a Warrior Two leg position. And then from here, the pelvis is on a little bit of a diagonal, but let's square up the shoulders towards the long end of the mat. And take your hands into this position the way we started class, just gently here on the sides. Breathe in. Slowly on your exhale, find the contraction, but leave the pelvis alone. Just let the pelvis be where it is. Yeah. And then on the inhale, you'll let that go. Let's take it one more time on the exhale. Slow contraction. If it's useful to make the sound, you can. Yeah. All right. And then let it go. Let's, little deep to our hands, slide down to the top of the pelvis here. Go ahead and straighten the front leg. And as you re-bend it, let's add this tilt in the pelvis, deepening the right hip crease. And then you'll come up again back to center. Excuse me, do that a few times. You might get a little inner thigh stretch. Always a tight spot for me. All right. Now from here, the next time you bend, just go partial. Same thing with this tilt in the pelvis, just go partial. You'll see why in a second. Take your back foot, press the heel down and back so that you feel a little firming on the outer hip. The torso's on a little bit of a diagonal. Can you find this contraction in? And if it feels okay to take your hands like this, fingers on the side of the head, elbows wide, do that. If that's feeling like too much or creating strain in the back or the pelvis, keep the hands to the hips. So what I'm hoping you're feeling is some work on the left side of the body. If you are able to hinge a little more, you can, but what we don't want to do for this one is come into like a side bend. It's more of a diagonal line. Yeah. The back heel is anchored. And then on the inhale, we return to center. Yeah, you guys. All right, hands to the hips. Let's change. Second side. Back leg turns in, front leg turns out. Keep the hands to the hips as you bend the left knee, knee reaches forward. Yeah? Leave the pelvis alone. It's on a little bit of a diagonal, but square up the shoulders. And then take the hands here on the sides. We'll do 2 of these slow breaths. The inhale just happens. And then on the exhale, we contract all sides in, leaving the pelvis alone. Just let it stay neutral. And then on the inhale, we open again. And a slow exhale. Good. Take the hands down to the pelvis. Let's go straight in the front leg. And as you rebend, add this tilt. Good. Do that a few more times. And then let's stay in the tilted position, but just a little bit at first. So the knee's not all the way bent, the torso's not all the way hinged, just kind of medium. Can you find the abdominal contraction here? And then if possible, take the hands up, just kind of on the sides of the head, elbows wide. Really anchor through the back heel. Now, if this is feeling fine, go ahead, deepen the knee bend, hinge a little deeper, but be really mindful that you don't collapse, yeah? We want to keep the left side of the waist long, which means the right side of the waist has to work. Yeah, you guys, let's come up on an inhale. Nice work. Parallel your feet. Bring yourself back in. And then pause with the legs just a bit wider than you normally stand. Bend both knees, bring the hips back and rest your forearms to the thighs. Just take a little break here. If you want to add some movement, a little sway or something, you can. Yeah. All right. And then to get out of this, create some tone through the belly, widen the thighs. Inhale, we rise. And exhale. The arms come down. So you might remember in the beginning of class, we were laying down, holding the strap, doing this sort of thing. We're gonna go do that again standing. So go get your strap and we'll try it out. So you'll stand, one strap in each hand, and the feet step down, and let's do this 2 different ways. For version 1, have all of the foot on the strap, feet about hips width distance apart, and the arms, straight arms. Don't wrap the hands around the strap though, you'll see why in a second. Bend the knees slightly, bring the hips back slightly, and then walk the hands down a little bit more. Don't slide on the strap, but pull on the strap, broaden the collarbones. Remember we did this laying down, and then as the legs start to go straighter, you will slide the hands on the strap, but try to do that minimally so that it creates a little pull across the chest and in the arms. Now, if we do this without thinking about the abdomen, we end up kind of here. So in your position, keep the collarbones broad, breathe in. Exhale, find the abdomen contraction. Imagine the front of the pelvis narrowing and the back of the pelvis widening. Yeah. Inhale, you let it go a little bit. And then let's find that one more time on the exhale. Good. Stay there. Just breathe as you need to breathe, but keep mostly the same position. In your head, sometimes we have a tendency to throw the head like this. Can you instead lift up through the base of your skull in the back? All right, and then relax. Let's get rid of, let's actually do the other version. So walk a little forward so the heel is now on your strap. If you need to wiggle the fingers a second, you can. Sometimes they get a little tired. Then from this position, bend the knees a little, bring the hips back, slide the hands down, give a little tug, broaden the collarbones. Press down through the heels as you let the legs lengthen. Collarbones stay broad. And on the next exhale, find that buttoning the pants action, widening through the back of the pelvis. On the inhale, you'll let it go a little bit, but mostly stay in the same position. And then one more time, each way. Good. From here, yogis, hopefully it won't make a big clatter. Can you just let go of the strap? Keep this idea. Reach down through the heels, reach up through the arms, lengthen, lengthen. Go ahead and at first let the ribs come a little forward. And then on the next exhale, find the abdominal contraction again, narrowing in on all sides, widening through the back of the pelvis. And then release the arms. All right, just move around a little bit. Yep. We will use the strap again, but not this second. So just have it handy, but not in your way. And oh, I feel very strong. Because, yeah, you look strong. All right, let's move again. We'll do another plank pose with this in mind, and then we'll do some balance work. So come to the front of your mat. Just mountain pose, feet can touch or have some space. Root down, inhale, we rise. Stay for the exhale, narrow it in. Yeah, inhale, we rise. Exhale, find a little contraction. Be gentle with it as you forward fold. And then let's come up halfway. Lower yourself down. We'll meet in plank pose. Again, any version of plank will do. Take a second though, broaden the collarbones. And on the next exhale, find a contraction, a little bit of a lift. Now, if anybody has straight legs as I do, try this. Bend your knees a little bit. And then on the next exhale, try to pull the knees a little bit more forward. Oh, yeah. And then re-straighten the legs without losing the position in the belly that you just created. And then let's go back to downward facing dog. Nice job, guys. From here, we'll meet in a standing forward fold. Any version of that is fine. Root down through the legs. On an inhale, we rise all the way up. Exhale, arms come down. Oh. Okay, so let's check this out in tree pose. We'll see what happens. If you need to be next to a wall or, grab a chair or something, that's fine. Start with the hands to the hips, and we'll take the right leg up. I'm mirroring you here. And just a few times open and close, moving from the hip joint, keeping the pelvis still. Yeah, we'll stay in the open position, and you can stay with toes on the floor. You could come down low, a little higher, or all the way up, but do not have the foot right on the side of the knee. So above or below the knee is good. Yeah. Now from here, slide the hands up, side of the waist, lower side ribs. Do this slowly and gradually. If you do it too quick, you'll fall over. So the inhale just happens. And then on the exhale, we find the narrowing in, widening through the back of the pelvis. Subtle shift back, yeah? See if you can maintain that. And on the inhale, it'll be a little more of a shallow inhale. And then again, on the exhale, we find the contraction. Let's do it with the arms up. Use the inhale to lift the arms. And the exhale to narrow in. Yeah, you guys, I can see you. You're so solid here. Let's release the position, release the leg, release the arms, swiggle it out a little bit. Yeah, hopefully it's life lessons, not just yoga lessons. Let's try the other side. Right leg is down. Left leg, do a little door hinge, in and out a couple of times just to see where you are. And then we'll pause with the leg open. Again, the pelvis stays forward, and you could stay low, medium, high, just not right on the knee. Take a second to get there. Let's slide the hands up, sideways, lower ribs. Slow inhale. And slow exhale, find the contraction, keeping neutral spine. You might shift back a little bit. Let's do that again. You might hear my neighbors are sawing next door. It's making some noise. And then let's do it with the arms. So the inhale is the arm lift. The exhale, they stay lifted, but we find again that contraction. Oh, yeah. Okay, Looking great. Release. Yeah, you guys. Nice job. Okay, so let's try this concept in our Warrior 3 with the strap. So I'm going to explain how that'll go. You've kind of already done the pieces. Now we're just putting them together. So let's set up the same way that you did before. You'll be standing on the strap, but only on one leg this time. So let's have the right leg a little bit back with the strap around the foot. Now, if you see me here, my left leg is forward. It's not like this. Yeah, so the left leg is free. We'll see why in a second. Let's hinge a little bit forward, choke up on the strap, push with the foot and pull with the arms, broaden the collarbones, but then find the contraction here. Yeah, let's keep that. Start to hinge forward, and as you do, we keep a little push-pull going on. You might stay pretty close to the floor with the foot. Some of you might come a little more parallel to the floor. So now we've got something to hang on to here. We want to keep the collarbones broad and open, but at the same time, keep the engagement through the abdomen. Okay, to get out, let's just return to center. We'll do it on the second side. If you need a little finger wiggle in between, take that. The right leg will be forward. I got hair in my mouth, sorry. Left leg is back. Story of my life. And then here we go. Push with the foot, pull with the arms, broaden the collarbones, but then find the support through the abdomen. When you're ready, we hinge. Continue to push with the foot, pull with the arms, abdomen stays engaged, but the collarbones are broad. You choose how low you're going to go. Virabhadrasana. Ring. Okay, undo. Back to center. Nice job. Let's ditch the strap. I think we're done with it completely. Wiggle out the fingers again. We're not done with Warrior 3. We're going to do 2 more versions. Same concept, but just different entry. So for this version, let's start with the right leg back, not too far back, kind of like a shorty Warrior 1 position. You'll bend the left knee, and then you'll place the hands on the top of the left thigh. You might want to watch for a second. So I'm going to hinge forward and then come up. So I'm keeping a little pressure on the thigh. Be careful not to hyperextend the knee. If you wanted to put the hands a little higher, that'll prevent that from happening. Okay, so let's give it a whirl. If you're already there, you can stay. Otherwise, from here, hands on the top of the left thigh, bend the left knee a little bit, hinge forward. We'll lift the back leg up. Now there's no more strap on the foot, but pretend there still is. Push the foot into the strap, press the hands into the thigh, lengthen forward. Create a little tone through the belly, find the contraction here. Yeah. And then to get out, we just hinge up to center, 2 feet on the floor, side by side. Second side, left leg comes back, just a shorty stance. Hands on the top of the right thigh. You can go as high as you want there. Little bend in the right knee. And then as we hinge, find this push on the leg. As the heart moves forward, the left leg comes back. As it does, push into your imaginary strap. Move the heart forward, collarbones stay broad, but we keep the contraction through the abdomen. It's easy to let it go here, but see if you can maintain that support. Yeah. And then to get up, just hinge your way up to center. Awesome. So last round, this will be with no arm support, but if you need the arm support, you can go back to one of the previous versions. So let's go again, this time hands to the hips, right leg back. You'll bend the left knee. Let's actually take the arms down alongside you. Pretend you still have the strap. Broaden the collarbones, tone through the belly, and as you hinge, you can lift the leg, you can stay in this diagonal position, you could come torso parallel to the floor. Keep the foot pressing the imaginary strap. Keep the abdomen engaged. To get out this time, let's land back in our Warrior 1 pose. Yeah, and then change sides. So come forward, other leg comes back, heel to the floor. Go ahead and bend the front knee. Send the arms down, broaden the collarbones, engage through here. As you're ready, let's find it. You'll hinge forward, lifting the back leg up, press into your imaginary strap. Keep the abdominal effort here. Now, of course, the abdomen will move when you breathe. Let that happen. And then land back in warrior one pose. And you'll step the back foot forward. Nice job. Just move around a little bit. Let's do another symmetrical pose after all of that. Kind of a medium stance and a slight internal rotation. Pigeon toe. Bend the knees, bring the hips back, rest the forearms on the thighs. Take a little movement here if that feels all right. And then let's do this. Don't go anywhere. At the tops of the thighs, press wide apart. At the same time, move the chest forward. And on the exhale, let's find that abdominal contraction. Good job, friends. Release. Let's come back up to stand. Okay. And next, we'll do a little bit of work from your seat. Same area though. So come on down to sit. And for the first one, I'm going to have us, it'll actually be more engagement through the backs of the legs and the back muscles. And then for the next one, it'll be more for the muscles in the front. So let's sit like this. The knees are bent, the hands are propped behind you. You'll flex the feet, gently press the heels down, and at the same time, try to drag the heels back towards your buttocks. As the hands are pressing down into the floor, broaden the collarbones. So in this position, when we're pulling the heels back, you'll feel some effort going in the hamstrings. And you might also feel a little bit of, not so much effort, but engagement through the muscles along the spine. I'll just hold this for a second. Okay. And then let it go. Let's take the feet a little wider. You can be on your heels or have the soles of the feet down, whatever is the most comfortable. Now for this one, we will be rolling, rounding the back and letting the pelvis tuck under. Let's take the arms out in front of you and breathe in. On the exhale, you'll start to roll back down, maybe about halfway. Inhale to hold. And then on the exhale, you'll come back. Let's have hands to the legs, sit up tall. Do that just 2 more times. So arms come forward. On the exhale, you'll lift in and up through the low belly. Round, go about halfway back. Inhale to stay. And then on the exhale, come forward. Hands to the shins. Inhale to sit up tall. Yeah, last one. So we come forward. Exhale to go about halfway down. Inhale to stay. Exhale, come forward, hands to the shins. Inhale to lengthen. Yeah. All right, guys, release. Let the legs come undone. Just give them a little shake out, little asana. Then we'll do one more thing for here. So come on down to your back. And you've done this one before. The legs are bent. It'll be a bent leg drop, which in a way is easier than the straight ones we did earlier, but I'm gonna have us do a different emphasis. So on your laying down position, take your cat-cow pelvis back and forth a couple of times. And then when it feels just neutral, stay there. Inhale. On the exhale, can you find your abdominal contraction while maintaining the neutral pelvis? You'll keep that as you lift one leg and then the other up. Inhale at the top. And then on the exhale, let one leg come a little forward, down, inhale up. Other side, exhale, it's down. And inhale, it's up. So keep this going. And don't let the pelvis rock back and forth. Don't let the spine do any kind of cat-cow. Keep the pelvis and the spine in their neutral position. Now, I do want to say this. Sometimes I'll teach this and other people will teach this actively flattening the back, pressing the back into the floor. And I don't want to say that's wrong or incorrect. It's just using different muscles. than the ones we use when the spine is neutral. So just want to put that out there. Let's stay the next time you're in the up position. Bring the left knee in a little more. Right hand to left leg. Press in towards the midline. And then let the right leg go straight. And it can be high or low, just wherever it is. We're just going to hold this position. Oh, now in this one, indeed, the low back might go down a little bit more, and that's fine. Okay, other side. So left hand to right leg, inner leg. Press in towards the midline. Straighten the left leg and go any amount and hold. I don't know. I find these particularly horrible, these pressing into the midline. And that's enough of that. Let's bend both knees. Just bring them in. Give yourself a little movement. It might feel good to stir around in little circles. And let's go the other way. Yeah. So we're going to take just a gentle twist from here. Let's keep the left leg in and stretch the right leg long, and then bring the left leg over to the right side. Any amount is fine. I'm actually going to scooch a little bit here. Now we could do this in a more effortful abdominal way, but we've done enough of that, I think, so just let it be a relaxed kind of twist. And when you're ready, we'll return to center, change to the second side here. So left leg goes long, right leg comes in, and over we go. And then let's return to center. Both legs come in. Just one last time, any kind of movement with the legs, the pelvis, the back. Yeah, yogis. You've done a lot today, so it's time to rest in Shavasana. You might want to keep the knees bent. You might want legs long. You might want props. Take whatever props make you happy. And as you start to settle into your Shavasana, you might find that there's still a little residual tone going on around the abdomen. And that's okay, but notice if it feels more like a grip. And if it feels like a grip, see if you can relax, or at least just ask it to relax. And as the abdomen is able to relax, see if you can send your breath lower down, so deeper, allowing belly movement every time you breathe. Let that just be a natural movement without you directing. I'm going to come a little closer to the screen, so hopefully Zoom picks up my voice instead of the background noise of the construction workers. See if you can relax your face. Relax your jaw.
Take a little deeper, fuller breath. Just begin to move the body a little bit in a gentle, easy way. When you're ready, let the knees bend. You'll roll over, we'll meet on one side. And from your side, take your time to press yourself up to sit. Meet sitting. Yeah. Take hands to heart center. And thank your own body for everything that it's able to do. And thank yourself for showing up. Namaste.